listen, I know we've been living through this whole pandemic era for the last 3+ months now.
4 months.
Almost 4 months, but it looks like S is really hitting the fan down in WWE at the Performance Center. There's been a, quote, little outbreak. I think at this point we need to get Dustin Hoffman and get him down there from, remember Tommy?
Yeah.
The movie Outbreak.
Rene Russo.
Monkey.
Tommy's just staring at me. I was like, hope you got that reference. That's a 90s reference for our older listeners right now.
Yeah, for the youngins.
But yeah, Philip, I'm sure you've been keeping track of it, just like this whole many COVID tests or people down to Performance Center catching COVID-19.
Yeah, I mean, you have the most notable one is Renee Young, and that puts a question on the Fyter Fest Week 2 main event with Jon Moxley defending the AEW title against the Path of Cage.
Did you see already? I love going on Twitter and just reading some of these comments.
Yeah, somebody was like, Vince gave her COVID so we can sabotage AEW.
And he was serious. I saw that one.
I was like, what?
What are you mental?
It's like Vince was like, you're going to have COVID. Then injected her with it. Like, what are you talking about, dude?
You're going to take out all of AEW with it.
The bigger picture, though, is that it's not – everyone's looking at WWE like this is their fault. But you look at the news, like real world news, and it's just hitting Florida harder than ever. So I can't blame WWE. It's you can't predict it. It's a virus. So
yeah, I think what happened is was it 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago, one person came forward. They were feeling symptoms. They went to go independently get tested. They had COVID-19, and then there was kind of that initial hysteria of oh my God, someone that was at the Performance Center had the coronavirus. And because of that, WWE finally started testing people. Because before, for the last 3 months, they just been doing temperature checks and on your way in there and just closed set.
And plus, I heard that there was a rumor, or allegedly someone said that worked with the company but remained anonymous. Kevin Dunn was telling people on site or whatever not to wear masks or anything like that.
And that's the thing. So when they've been bringing NXT people to fill up the crowd, they weren't really doing social distancing. They weren't wearing masks. So between just temperature checks only and all the not wearing masks and stuff, it's like, wow, they're not doing the proper protocol. They weren't testing people.
Another reason why to hate Kevin Dunn even more.
And then you have last week they didn't have they had the non-wrestlers in the crowd, and so
family and friends coming in.
Yeah, that could be a possibility as well. And then you hear Jimbo's baby girl Kayla Braxton, she had it twice.
Was it early March and now again?
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of like a breakthrough, right, in science.
He's a pro now.
I was gonna say we know
seasoned veteran.
You can get COVID-19 twice now. Apparently,
people kind of thought it's like the chicken pox. You have it once and you'll be okay.
Yeah. No, I mean no. It's
These are the same people not wearing masks. Though.
Yes.
So.
So, Philip, you want to take care of Kayla Braxton?
I don't want to do that to Jimbo.
Oh, come on.
I'll do it.
Say
I'll do it.
Okay,
sorry, Jimbo.
You're going to be her nurse, right?
Yeah, I'll nurse her back to health.
Okay.
For the outfit and everything.
Yeah. Wear the rubber suit.
The hazmat suit.
So, yeah, no, it's kind of the last few days, various reporters been coming out saying, there was, since WWE's been doing the testing, many positive results have been coming in. I think at one point they said 24. Another report said I think it's 30 now. So there's all these positive results. And as you just said, Renee Young was one of the first ones to come forward since she got it. Kayla Braxton, Adam Pearce has it.
Yeah.
Jamie Noble revealed. So they've been keeping it private who has it. So it's just on the individual person
have to, for legal
reveal
reasons,
it
because that's HIPAA law. So
yes.
HIPAA law prevents you from the WWE coming out and giving a list because that's someone's medical record.
Exactly.
So I'm only clarifying that because I've seen a ton of people online complaining about, well, why don't they say who it is? It's, legally, you can't.
Yeah, that's their privacy. Yeah, you got to
They want to disclose that because if it does come out, then that doctor essentially can lose their license.
Exactly. So at this point, I think it's just up to the individual person if they want to come forward and announce that they have it or not, like Kayla Braxton or Renee Young and all these other people have done. But yeah, it's their own decision if they want to do it or not.
I felt extra bad for Renee. She got COVID. Her backstage show got canceled.
Yeah.
I know. She said, what a tough week. I was going to say, thoughts on real quick on the WWE backstage being canceled?
When Punk's first episode, I watched it, never watched it again.
I was going to say, I caught clips on YouTube, but yeah, it wasn't for me.
Wrong time.
Yeah.
If you had it on right after a show. They've got 3 shows, but it's on Tuesdays at 7 or 8.
I think 11 East Coast time. Yeah, luckily here on the West Coast, we got it earlier.
I mean, look at it this way. Like you said, when CM Punk came on it, and after that, you stopped watching it. The same goes for, pro wrestling doesn't need to have like these kind of like after shows. Like Dark Side of the Ring. They had that kind of post-after show thing. It's like they're trying to capitalize on what they did with The Walking Dead or whatever.
Walking Dead and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's nonsense.
Takes away from us podcasters who want to review the weekly shows.
Exactly.
Post shows can work. Like Talking Smack was great.
I know, it was great. Daniel Bryan,
They
Renee
took the
Young.
one good thing away from us.
and it was a Fox production, so it's just more money in WWE's pocket, which you can't blame them for. All they have to do is get a few people to talk about it.
Yeah, so apparently, what Fox Studios said, it was more like a budget reason why they had to cancel it.
Is it canceled? I thought I read somewhere that they might do one a month or something.
Or like maybe after like a big pay-per-view or something.
Yeah,
so
that'd be more convenient.
So it would be a very limited showing of that. And they said also, I think ratings were okay. I think when CM Punk first came on, it got a boost, but after that, it kind of just fell back down again. So. Between...
What do you expect for ratings to be for FS1, though? So I'm sure anything that they brought in, as long as it's not 1,000 people, is pretty good.
I think they were doing better than some of...
anything on there.
I heard it was Brian Alvarez talking about it, and I think he said that they were doing better than some of the other sports shows that they had.
Meltzer's Janetti said that?
Yeah, exactly. I like that. That's awesome.
Drum roll.
But he said they might got better. It had low ratings, but they were still better than some of the other FS1 programming. But because some of those other sports shows, they were able to get higher ad money for it. WWE Backstage wasn't getting a lot of money from advertisement. So even though it might get better ratings, they're not getting enough money to cover their costs. And that's something, I totally understand when he was coming from working in radio. I totally understand all that stuff when it comes to programming and how you justify paying for certain stuff and talent. I'm sure CM Punk was making a lot of money for his once a month appearance and stuff
to get him to watch wrestling.
Yes,
yeah.
And I think for some people they're happy to see him back in quote some form of wrestling. But at the end of the day, we want him in a ring.
Yeah,
we don't want him commentating on stuff.
Look, he saved his money. He's doing well. That's all. That's what it is.
So, with that being said, I do feel bad for Renee Young. It's a really tough week between getting COVID-19, losing WWE Backstage. So, I wonder if moving forward, are we going to see her more on SmackDown again once she gets healthy again?
Yeah.
But I guess let me ask you this, guys. Because of all this high number, we don't know the exact amount, but if it's obviously well into double digits, if you're WWE, what do you do right now? Do you just shut it down completely for a couple weeks, a month, a couple months? Do you still doing shows? I mean, they did SmackDown last night, but SmackDown was a very last-minute change of plans.
I think the show's going to go on. I mean, Owen fell from the ceiling and it went on. So, I don't think a pandemic is going to stop Vinnie Mac.
Yes. It's like...
I wouldn't stop it.
Keep putting the show?
I'd do more stringent testing. If you're saying that they weren't doing more stringent testing and now they're starting to, and they already had those people get sick, I would just up the testing and keep going.
Okay.
See, that's what they're going to do right now.
It's too much money not to.
Yeah, I'm sure for them. I saw online, some people were saying, listen, WWE has such a huge library, obviously, with the network. You can easily do a clip show for...
You could, but they're paying for new content.
Exactly.
And if you have to do all the shows to make the TV companies happy because it's on 2 different networks. So if you stop doing NXT and Raw to make Fox happy with SmackDown, then they're not going to be happy with Raw and NXT because they don't get to do a show, but SmackDown does.
Yeah.
So I would say take the ultimate precautions, clean everything. Mm-hmm. If it has to slow production, clean the mat after every match.
Yes.
Whatever.
Yes.
There's a way to do it. And I mean, we've all been to shows like WWE shows, and you know how quick they can change the ring and change the mat on the ring.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to know how many mats are on the ring. They can swipe one out and there's another one underneath.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, go back to the tape library thing, though. I mean, it can be nice if you don't want certain people to be exposed for your bigger storylines. Like Randy Orton's a perfect example. Mm-hmm. What he's doing with Big Show, play like Survivor Series 2013 when they had their match for the WWE title. Throw that on there.
Okay.
Just for just for like however the duration of the match was.
And they were doing that earlier this year when it first started. Remember, they were showing the Royal Rumble match.
Yeah, and that's fine. And like keep Nate out of the PC for a little bit because you know he's a national treasure. We need him.
Absolutely, that's the thing. It was like this whole thing's going on, and you got one of the oldest guys alive.
Medical history the last few years.
Exactly, showing up there. So yeah, maybe there's a compromise. Maybe do some clips and then some of the new matches as well. So kind of mix it up, like we kind of saw on SmackDown this week, which we'll tap into in a little bit. So. Yeah, it's scary stuff right now with WWE. Hopefully, yeah, they'll kind of get everything figured out and situated. Yeah, clean things up, more testing.
If you look at it, though, is Vince wrong? Because if you keep going, that shows everyone that nothing will stop them. Which, is why they're on Fox now for how much money?
It was a couple billion, right? It was
like,
$3-4 billion or something like that, the total deal. So,
and last time I checked, the other two shows are not on Fox, so Raw's the money show.
Yeah.
It's still the money show.
So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they're going to move forward. Like I said, I think Vince, knowing him, the show must go on, but it's a little scary just the amount of results coming through right now, or a positive test. So, yeah, it's if you need to film as much as you can right now that who's available that has negative results, film as much as you can and then let everyone go home and rest. And I know there's some travel issues maybe as well, because I think New York and some other states up north, anyone that comes into the state has to automatically quarantine for 14 days. So theoretically, WWE talent that don't live in Florida already, if they leave, they might not be able to come back for a couple of weeks. Anyway, so it's a big mess right now. I'm sure WWE's trying to figure out the best way to.
Impact's had that down for years, though.
As far as taping, a bunch of stuff.
They had taped 6 weeks or so in 3 days.
NWA was obviously more doing that with NWA Power, filming a bunch of stuff. I mean, they would film like 2 months worth in a weekend.
And if you look at who WWE's producers are now, Jeff Jarrett, Abyss, Bruce Pritchard, who worked for TNA,
Borash,
Jeremy Borash,
he's like Triple H's right-hand man now.
Yeah.
So, you would think with all these guys, they know how to get a bunch of shows done in one weekend. So we'll see.